The communion of science, the communion of conscience between God and man. Today I come to you with a teaching that might seem impossible for the world to practice, but once it is understood, it is the easiest to fulfill. I come to teach you the worship of the love of God through your life, your deeds, and the spiritual prayer, which is not pronounced by the lips at a predetermined place, nor is it a need of forms or images to be inspired. While men have wanted to see me as a distant and remote God, I have proposed to show them that I am closer to them than their eyelashes. They pray mechanically, and if they do not see all they ask for immediately, discouraged, they exclaim, God has not heard us. If they knew how to pray, if they united their minds and hearts with their spirits, they would hear the divine presence of the Lord in their conscience and feel His presence very close to them. But how can they expect to feel my presence if they ask through materialized worship? How can they possibly sensitize their spirits if they worship even their Lord through images made with their own hands? I want you to understand that you have me very close to you, that you can communicate with me, feel me as well, and receive my inspirations easily. Practice the silence which favors the spirit so that it will find its God. That silence is like a fountain of knowledge, and all who penetrate into it will be filled with the clearness of my wisdom. The silence is like a closed place with indestructible walls, to which only the Spirit has access. Man constantly carries within his innermost the knowledge of the secret place in which he can communicate with God. You can communicate with your Father wherever you are, for the place is of no consequence. It can be at the top of the mountain, or if you find yourself in the depth of a valley, in the commotion of a city, in the peace of your home, or in the midst of a struggle. If you seek me in the interior of your sanctuary, in the midst of the deep silence of your elevation, the doors of the universal and invisible temple will be opened instantly so that you feel yourself truly in the house of the Father, which exists in each spirit. When the pain of your ordeals overwhelm you and your afflictions of life annihilate your senses, if you experience an intense desire to obtain a little peace, retire to your chamber or seek the silence, the solitude of the countryside. There elevate your spirit, guided by its conscience, and enter into meditation. The silence is the kingdom of the spirit, a kingdom that is invisible to human eyes. At the moment of penetrating the spiritual ecstasy, the awakening of the superior senses is obtained, intuition surges, the inspiration glows, the future is perceived, and the spiritual life touches what is distant and makes possible what before seemed impossible. If you wish to penetrate the silence of the sanctuary of this ark, you yourself should be the ones to prepare the way, for only with true purity will you be able to penetrate it. It is necessary for my prophets to rise again to admonish men, because while there are people who destroy themselves, blinded by ambition and violence, those who have received my light and calmly judge humanity are fearful of rising to give the good news. If this humanity would know how to pray with the Spirit, they would hear my voice, they would receive my inspiration. But each time they pray, they place a veil over their eyes, which hides to them the light of my presence. I have to come to men during the moments when their bodies are at rest to awaken their spirit, to call on Him and converse with Him. It is Christ who, like a thief in the middle of the night, penetrates your heart to sow my seed of love within. Learn to pray and meditate at the same time. so that knowledge and understanding arise in each one of you. Spiritualism is liberty. That is why those who now hear me and have understood the meaning of this liberating doctrine see open up before them a great valley, where they shall struggle and give testimony that the time came when God, the Almighty Creator, came to establish communications between Himself and man. The doctrine of Christ was spiritual, but men surrounded it with rites and forms to put it within reach of the spirits of scarce elevation. You have entered the era of the Spirit, that of the great revelations in which materialism, imposture, and imperfection will disappear from all worship, in which all men, through the Spirit, shall recognize God who is all Spirit, and on that road find the means of perfect communication. When men have learned to communicate with my spirit, then there will be nothing they have to ask or look up in books. Today they still ask those who they think know more than they do, or they pursue texts and books, anxious to find the truth. If you learn to meditate a few minutes each day, and if your meditation is on the spiritual life, you will discover an infinity of explanations and will receive revelations that you cannot get in any other way. Your spirit already has enough light to ask questions of me and to receive my replies. The spirit of humanity has already reached great elevation. Observe your brothers of humble condition who, in spite of the poverty of their knowledge, surprise you with their profound observations and the clear manner in which they explain that which for many others is inexplicable. Did you think that they had frequented books or schools? No, but they have discovered by intuition or by necessity the gift of meditation that is part of spiritual prayer. In their loneliness, isolated from influences and prejudices, they have discovered how to enter into communion with the eternal and the spiritual, with truth and some more and some less. All who have meditated on the true essence of life have received spiritual light for their understanding. You ask me, what does the prayer consist of? And I say to you, allow your spirit to elevate freely toward the Father with true faith and confidence during those moments of prayer. Allow your heart and mind to receive inspirations from the Spirit and accept with true humility the will of the Father. The one who prays in that manner will be able to feel my presence joyfully at any moment during his life on earth, never again feeling that he is indigent. There, in the purest part of their being, in the Spirit, will be where I write my law in this era. It will be there that I make my voice heard, and where I will build my temple. For that which does not exist in the Spirit might as well not exist. And so, though you raise enormous temples in my honor, though you offer feasts and ceremonies full of splendor, your offerings will not reach me, for they are not of the Spirit. All external worship bears in it vanity and ostentation. In contrast, the quiet offering, that which the world never sees, and that you offer me spirit to spirit, that reaches me because of its humility, its sincerity, its truth, in a word, because it proceeds from the Spirit. Read again my parable of the Pharisee and the publican from the second time, and then you will understand my teaching, which has been the same in all times. Do you know that some are loved without deserving it? That is how I love you. Give me your cross, give me your sadness, give me your dashed hopes, give me the heavy burden you bear. I can bear all the pain. Feel yourselves free of your burden, so that you may be happy. Enter into the sanctuary of my love, and be silent before the altar of the universe, so that your spirit may converse with the Father in the most beautiful of languages, that of love. My peace be with you.